I mean, if you're understanding database, if you're going through database, what is a schema, what all types of databases we have. So all this information we'll try to understand, right? Now, let's go to the next slide where it will give, I mean, it will give you a better clarity that why we need to go back and learn this database, why we need to go back and learn this schema, right? What is schema? What is database? What types of databases are there? And why SQL? Why not any programming language, right? So let's suppose you're visiting a superstore. Right. Superstore in the sense you're visiting a mall. Maybe you want to pick up some groceries. Now, what groceries you have? I mean, if you visit any particular supermarket or if you visit any particular mall, all that particular, maybe you are searching food items or maybe you are specifically searching biscuits, right? So you would directly visit that biscuit section because it is very easy, right? If you visit any superstore, you would go to that particular section where biscuits are mentioned or food items are mentioned, packed items are mentioned, and you can easily pick up that. Why? Because information is clearly arranged. The information is clearly arranged. So where is it clearly arranged? It can be arranged in a table form, right? It is usually arranged in a table format. So having been discussed yesterday, table has certain components. What component it has? If you consider from left to right, this left to right, so we have rows. This is left to right, and this is top to bottom. This is top to bottom. So whenever you are considering any database, the information is stored in a tabular format, right? It's a tabular format. So whichever information is kept from left to right, these are called as rows. Row 1, row 2, row 3, this is row 4. And the information which is from top to bottom, that information is, specifically called as column. This is column 1, this is column 2, and this is column 3. So if you're considering a database, you should always remember that information is clearly kept in a table format. Now, coming back to the superstore again, I want to get certain items, right? So what items you can get? So I'm visiting a DMart. Let's suppose I visit a DMart. So if I'm particularly searching for a particular item, the item would be segregated in different partitions, right? In a different area, there would be different section. So you can easily visit that section and you can easily purchase that item. And where these items are kept, these items are kept in multiple rows or in multiple columns. So whenever you are considering a database, the database has to be clearly in the table format, right? Whichever information would be dumped into the database. Database is what? It is a storage system. So if you are considering any storage system, the information is either kept in left to right or top to bottom format, which are nothing but rows and columns. Now, this might be a pictorial representation, but along with pictorial representation, this is how, if you, and I mean, end of the day, if you purchase some product in the sense you purchased maybe 5 or 6 items and you went to billing. Now, what is billing, right? If you want to, if you go to a billing counter, they would give you a bill, right? They would scan all these items which you have purchased, and with a specific barcode, a bill will be generated. Now, how that bill information, you went to counter, at the counter a bill is generated. Where does that information get stored? That information will be stored in their billing system. Now, what is billing system? Billing system is nothing but your database. End of the day, wherever information is getting stored, that is nothing but your database. That is nothing but your backend system, right? So how the information is stored in the database? The same format. Whatever information is stored in the database, that information can be printed on the bill. So you purchase certain 9 products, how many quantities you purchased, what is the MRP, what kind of discount you have got from that superstore, and what's the total price. What's the total price? Now, this is just an MRP, right? I have multiplied it into number of quantities. So from that, with this discount, this is the total amount. End of the day, all this information is stored in rows and columns, right? The information which is stored in the database using that billing system, it would take a print of it, and that same print can be utilized for our reference. So whatever information you are considering, whatever information you are viewing it, all that information is always stored in the table format. That table format consists of rows and columns, right? Rows are from left to right, columns are from top to bottom. So just understand the structure. So database means table, table means row and column. Now, what is database? Database will store all the information. It might be physical database, it might be logical database. There are different databases. Just understand. Now, what is physical database? See, I'm visiting a superstore. In this superstore, you are physically picking an item, right? I want to pick up certain lace. I want to pick up certain namkeen items. I want to pick up some biscuits, or I want to pick up some household products like soaps, right? We have oils. So I want to pick up that. You are physically visiting that specific rack and you're picking up that item. So that is nothing but a physical database. More a kind of, there is a physical, you have an activity. And end of the day, whatever items you have picked, you visit a counter, and from that counter, a barcode is scanned, a bill is generated, but that bill is generated in their system, right? It is not generated in your device. It is generated in the, whatever superstore you're visiting, in their device, that bill is generated. That means there is a logical flow of information. You cannot physically check how, what is data, what information is stored in that bill. No, you can only check whatever is printed and whatever is given to you. That means there is a logical share of information. You're not physically touching anything, but you're getting a final copy of a bill. That means there is a logical share of information. So you need to understand what is physical database and what is logical database. Now we will discuss what is the ideal difference in further slides, but just to give you an idea, whatever you are considering, whichever information you are considering, every information end of the day is connected to database, and that database consists of a table.